trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Good evening. This is the ATN Global News. First, the headlines. Ministry of Tourism unveils plans to revamp content industry. IPOB insists on May 30 sit at home in Southeast. Court stops police, military, DSSS from evicting the Emir Sanusi. Finance Minister says Nigeria's economy is growing. Deadly landslide threatens thousands in Papua New Guinea. Ronaldo breaks Saudi Pro League scoring record. Actor Zach Oji says nude scene affected his marriage.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics.
A very good evening once again, and thank you for joining us. I am Angel Wukoma, and now the details of the news. Rivers State Ministry of Tourism and Development Agency, in collaboration with stakeholders, have unveiled plans and prospects to reform the tourism and content industry in the state following the ongoing Rivers Economic and Investment Summit. Speaking to the press, the Director General, Rivers State Tourism and Development Agency, Yibo Kobo, said accurate and positive media content are necessary to project the state in a good light, which will go a long way to rebuild confidence and attract potential investors to the state.
Very constantly.
Kobo also said that the involvement of creative youth in the content industry cannot be overemphasized.
What it will do is that it will allow for young people again to be curious, and then we can now begin to activate all other things, so that between now and October, November, we would have done so much.
In view of promoting the Rivers content industry and cultural heritage, my aides at China emphasized on the need to establish and sustain a more better content approach for the state.
By the time somebody is seeing today, Rivers State Positive Festival, tomorrow, Rivers State Festival, this festival that happened in December, this festival, if you're outside Rivers State, you want to come and know, what is this festival? Where is this Port Harcourt? That's exactly what he's talking about. By God's grace, they have the platform.
In an interview, my aides China urged youth and the content space to guard against the dissemination of content that is capable of demarketing the state.
Every youth now, almost every youth has a smartphone. And so, if you don't know anything about smartphones, if you don't know about algorithm, you should know about hashtags. When people want to do business in a location, visit a location, or come to a location, they check the internet algorithm for what that location rating is. So if you are a youth and you are bad-mouthing your location, you are demarketing your location, those investments that will come and give you jobs will not come. Those businesses that will employ you and come and develop or buy what you're selling will not come. The customers that will come and buy what you're selling will not come. Even the scholarships and the developmental initiatives that are supposed to come and support what you are doing will not come.
Recall that the Rivers State Economic and Investment Summit is an annual event dedicated to showcasing the vast investment opportunities in Rivers State and it is organized by the Rivers State government in collaboration with key stakeholders to serve as a platform for promoting economic growth, fostering partnerships and attracting local and international investors to the region. In view of the crisis rocking the Labour Party in Edo State, the Julius Abure-led national leadership of the party has sacked the state executive led by Kelly Ogatloy. In its place, the party's national secretariat has constituted a 17-man caretaker committee headed by a former Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Elizabeth Activia, to oversee the running of the chapter, while the crisis and the state chapter of the party has caused a stay on May 25, 2024, as the leaders and the Arue Urumi in the Eastern Northeast local government area of Edo State suspended Abure for allegedly high-handedness and anti-party activities. The state executive advised Abure to refrain from holding out or parading himself as a member of the Labour Party in Ward 3, Arue Urumi, in Eastern North local government area of Edo State, while the national body denied knowledge of the suspension, and Abure remained a member as well as the national chairman of the party. While administering the caretaker committee to the oath of office, Dr. Olorufemi said the new leadership of the party and the state came on board as the tenure of the Obatloy-led executive council ended in April. He also said the new leadership of the party and the state was expected to take charge of the affairs pending when a fresh Congress would hold to elect a new executive in the state. While the party decided to appoint Activia as a state chairman due to her result-oriented track record in her political position so far. Indigents of the Umuihweze Autonomous Community Akwete Ndoke Asian Kingdom in Okwa East local government area of Abia State have protested an alleged plot to impose Daniel Nwuzo as their new traditional ruler. This is coming after Nwuzo was last week announced as a newly elected traditional ruler of the community by the Abia State Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Uzo Nwachukwu, after a plebiscite conducted in the community by his ministry. The commissioner, who said that Nwuzo scored 9 votes to defeat Augustine Eninea Obulo, whom he said got 1 vote in a peaceful plebiscite which followed due process, and also explained that the state government was not interested in who becomes the traditional ruler, but only interested in peace and stability in all parts of the state. But many elders and youth of Umuihweze who staged the protest at Okwa East local government area headquarters, Akwete, against the emergence of Daniel Nwuzo as Eze-elect, called on the Abia State Governor Alex Oti to call the Commissioner Uzo Nwachukwu to order to avoid breakdown of law and order, and also alleged that the Commissioner, in collusion with the federal lawmaker from the area, compromised the true process and tradition that produces a traditional ruler for Umuihweze Akwete. Speaking on behalf of the aggrieved villagers, Obonna Jiuche, who said he is a palace secretary of Umuihweze and Onyekwere Onyema, explained that the Akwete Asian Kingdom, which has existed for more than 400 years, has a well-established monarchical dynasty of succession and is not known for kinship tussle. Imo State Police Commissioner Aboki Danjuma has demoted an officer, Inspector Isong Osudwe, attached to the counter-terrorism unit in Owerri, following a widely circulated video showing him extorting money from motorists along the Owerri-Onitsha Expressway. Disclosing the disciplinary action in a statement by the command spokesman, Henry Okoye, said the police officer's behavior was shameful and unprofessional, stressing that the supervisory officer has also been issued an official query for lack of supervision. Aboki condemned the officer's action, said the command would not tolerate any form of extortion or misconduct by its personnel, and warned that supervisory officers who fail to carry out their oversight duties will face severe sanctions, and urged residents to continue supporting the police and other security agencies with timely and actionable information to ensure public safety. Indigenous people of Biafra says that May 30 sit at home remains sacrosanct across the southeast, and that every resident in the zone should stay at home in commemoration of Biafra Heroes Day. The IPOB had earlier directed the West African Examination Council, the authorities of Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, to shift their respective engagements earlier than scheduled for the day, while declaring the day as a day to celebrate its fallen heroes during the civil war between 1967 and 1970. The pro-Biafran group, in a statement signed by its spokesperson, Powerful, said the remembrance of all those who fought for Biafra freedom and sovereignty remains imperative, and no government or security agency has any authority to harass any innocent person during the event. Powerful stated that all social activities in Biafra land are banned, including markets, schools, banks, government and private businesses are not allowed to open. Other than that, the entire Southeast would be on lockdown from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on that day. The group insisted that the old Biafran heroes and heroines must be remembered, including Bruce Mayrock from the USA, who sacrificed his youthful age for Biafrans. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has described the joint suit instituted against the 36 state governors over alleged misconduct on the administration of local government as illegal anomaly. Sanwo-Olu, who disclosed this at a two-day legal summit held in Ikeja, the state capital, said local government in Lagos State enjoy full autonomy, and the federal government has approached the Supreme Court with a suit seeking to compel governors of the 36 states of the Federation to grant full autonomy to the local government in their domains. The suit was filed by the Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi San, on behalf of the federal government, urging the Apex Court to issue an order prohibiting state governors from unilateral, arbitrary and unlawful dissolution of democratically elected local government leaders for local government. Reacting to the suit, the Lagos State Governor said the AGF should have conducted due diligence to ascertain the erring state governors rather than join the 36 state governors in the suit. Sanwo-Olu said an infringement on the local council autonomy was an affront to the spirit of the Constitution, on which the judiciary must make a clear interpretation for equity and fairness. Other than that, a better justice system would protect the interests of parties and discourage actions limiting the efficiency of any government entity. Two motorists have lost their life during an exchange of gunfire with policemen who prevented an attack in the Ipaja division of the Lagos State Police Command. Our witness said the policemen embarked on the enforcement of the existing ban on motorcycle operations in the state when the motorcyclists revolted against the action, and during the protest to express their grievances against the enforcement, the State Police Public Relations Officer Benjamin Hyundin said in a statement he posted on his verified handle on X.com that the motorcyclists attempted to overrun the police station. He explained that during the exchange of gunfire between the policemen and the protesting motorcyclists, 2 motorcycle operators were killed and no fewer than 200 motorcyclists were impounded and some suspects arrested during the incident. The spokesman also said the Lagos State Police Command will not be cowed into abdicating its responsibilities of enforcement of all duly passed law and maintenance of law and order within the society. The senator representing Ondo South, Jimo Ibrahim, has removed his suit against the All Progressive Congress and Ondo Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa. This is coming after Ibrahim approached the Federal High Court in Abuja to challenge the outcome of the gubernatorial primary election of the APC in Ondo State and claimed that there was no voting in his senatorial district and a larger part of the state. Following the suit, the executives of the APC in the Atako 2 or Tipupa local government area of Ondo State suspended Ibrahim from the party over alleged anti-party activities and insubordination. while Ibrahim said he withdrew the suit in deference to President Bola Tinubu, who weighed in the issue. Independent National Electoral Commission says it has commenced continuous voter registration in Edo and Ondo State in preparation for the off-cycle governorship elections. The elections are scheduled for September 21, 2024 in Edo and November 16, 2024 in Ondo, respectively. The National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumeko, in a statement said the continuous voter registration began at 397 centers across the two states on Monday. The state acting chairman of the APC, Jared Tenebe, in a statement has urged INEC to cancel the exercise due to the damage to its secretariat, materials and equipment meant for the continuous registration exercise, while INEC had moved the registration center to its office at Ipoba, Oka local government area of the state. To facilitate access to registration centers, INEC had distributed hard copies of the locations to stakeholders and uploaded the information on its website and social media platforms. Justice Iyan Eko of the Federal High Court in Abuja has scheduled the trial of Bello Bodejo, leader of the Mieti Allah Kutel Hill, for May 29. This decision comes after the dismissal of Bodejo's application for bail after facing terrorism-related charges. He was absent at the previous court section, causing a delay in the trial's commencement. His counsel Ahmed Raja assured the court that his client was prepared for the upcoming trial and there would be no immediate appeal against the bail ruling, as the court has mandated an expeditious hearing. Arraigned in March on 3 counts under the Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act 2022, Bodejo has denied all charges and his lawyer had previously sought bail on grounds of e-health and fundamental right, but Justice Eko dismissed the application. The President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has commended the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, for a job well done and also promised to fulfill the renewed hope agenda. President Tinubu, who thanked Wike countless times in his speech delivered at the Presidential Commissioning Ceremony of Southern Parkway from Christian Center to Ring Road, expresses gratitude to Wike to have worked tirelessly to complete a project that was abandoned for 13 years, stressing that the completion of the Southern Parkway is for the benefits of Nigerians.
And stop that. Barrister is on Wike. Mr. Project. Thank you for giving us this hope and sincere commitment to shared value. Well done. As a team leader, you work so hard, tirelessly. The completion of the Southern Parkway underscores our commitment to inclusive and sustainable development as we strive to build a world-class capital city. We recognize the fact that infrastructure is an enabler of job, economic development, and prosperity. The need of our citizens is paramount in our mind. So for making our citizens the central focus of our development, we believe Nigeria will succeed. As we formally inaugurate this road, I'm greatly honored I had him mentioning my name as the beneficiary Thank you very much. Thank you for being a very good team leader. We all collectively will not let you down.
The FCT Minister Yesom Wiki, while delivering his address, said Southern Parkway was first awarded in December 2010 at the sum of 2 billion naira, but later reversed to 35.7 million naira, which was not constructed before his administration came on board, and it was therefore at his commitment that the project was completed.
Mr. President, they wish to be informed that the Southern Parkway is one of the principal outlets conceived and planned as a freeway to provide access and connectivity to the southern development plan of the city as provided in the Abuja Master Plan. The other principal outlet is the Northern Parkway, which has been substantially developed over the years to service the northern districts. Your Excellency, to bring the level of development of the Southern Parkway at par with the Northern Parkway, these projects, which were awarded in December 2010 to Mr. Central Nigeria Limited at a contract sum of 2.2 billion, was later revised to 35.7 billion due to changes in scope and other economic indices. But this was done before this application came in. The scope of work made about 2 main carriageways of 4 lanes each and 2 service carriageways of 2 lanes each, making a total of 12 lanes. It also includes the construction of 4 number interchanges, a total of 8 number bridges in addition to the provision of associated underground engineering infrastructure facilities. I'm happy to further inform Your Excellency that the project is now completed in line with the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President. Of the project will indeed enhance traffic circulation around the city center, thereby reducing delays and travel time, complement the developed portion of the Northern Parkway by using the traffic congestion experience in the southern districts of Garki, Kutu, and Durumi, as well as accelerate the development of the southern axis of the city in general, thereby bringing improved socio-economic benefits to residents and other Nigerians.
Earlier, the Executive Secretary to the Federal Capital Territory Administration gave the project's overview.
The Southern Parkway had remained undeveloped over the years. The segment of the Southern Parkway that is being commissioned today covers a total distance of about 5.4 kilometers, spanning from the National Christian Center at CBN Junction with Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, which is the inner Southern Expressway, up to the Ring Road 1, that is the Namdi Azikwe Expressway. The objectives of the projects are to, among others, as also itemized by the MC, to rapidly evacuate traffic from the city center, thereby reducing delays and increasing useful man hours. The scope of the work that we are presenting today consists of the development of 2 main carriageways of 4 lanes each and 2 service carriageways of 2 lanes each, making a total of 12 lanes. The parkway, as against the other expressway of 10 lanes, is the only roadways 12 lanes. It also includes the construction of 4 number interchanges with a total 8 number bridge crossings, network of integrated underground engineering infrastructure facilities such as storm and foul water drainages, water supply, power supply, street lighting, and telecom ducting. The project was awarded to Mrs. Centraco Nigeria Limited in 2 phases, first in December 2010 and then November 2012. as phases 1 and 2, but has suffered inadequate funding. It is out of the doggedness and the determination of Mr. Project, the Honourable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Barrister Ezenwo Yeso Wiki, that we are able to see to the accomplishment of this outstanding work on this, which has enabled us to present today for commission.
New Nigeria People's Party in Benue State has associated itself from a press conference held by the Coalition of Political Parties and the Inter-Party Advisory Council, where they levied allegations of insecurity against the state governor, Reverend Father Hyacinth Alia, led administration in the state. Benue State Acting Chairman of NMPP, Innocent Oche Aba, who made the disclosure in a chat with journalists in his office in Maracudi, said the press conference by IPAC was misguided as it was not a representation of the position of the leadership of Benue NMPP. He said IPAC is an advisory body of all registered political parties created to ensure stability within the parties and guarantee smooth and sustainable inter- and intra-party relations, and not to take sides against any member political party. Other than that, the party was not involved in the press conference where allegations of insecurity in Benue was levied against the governor Alia administration by the coalition of political parties. Abba also said the stunning allegations of insecurity in the state does not reflect the effort of the administration to stem the tide of insecurity in the state, and urged IPAC and other stakeholders to be cautious about the allegations they make about insecurity in Benue State. Adamawa State Governor Ahmadu Fintiri has massively expanded his cabinet with the appointment of 182 special assistants, and also sent a list of 57 names to the State House of Assembly for appointment as heads of boards and commissions. A statement issued in Duolaba Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, Ohom Washi Wonoshiko, said the appointments are with immediate effect. In a similar development, the governor appointed Dr. Michael Zika, the former personnel assistant to former Governor Jibrila Bindo, as the Executive Secretary in Poverty Alleviation and Wealth Creation Agency. Gombe State government says it has filed charges against a man who amputated both hands of his 12-year-old nephew, identified only as Adamu, following allegations that the minor stole a phone. Director of Public Prosecutions and the Gombe State Ministry of Justice Abubakar Jungudo, who confirmed the prosecution, said they were awaiting the assignment of the case by the Chief Judge of Gombe State. A statement by the Vice Chairperson of the Nigeria Bar Association in Gombe, Walin Abdu, in commemoration of Children's Day, condemned the amputation of Adamu's hands over an alleged phone theft in the Akko local government area, and pointed out that the urgent need for a child protection in Gombe State. She called for the enforcement of the child protection law to address abusers, stating the necessity of concerted effort to combat such heinous acts against minors, and lamented that despite the Attorney General's office taking over the prosecution, many cases of child abuse remain unaddressed, ranging from sexual abuse as well as child labor, molestation and trafficking. Abdul called on stakeholders to take immediate and resolute action to safeguard children's well-being, urging Gombe State to implement and enforce the child protection law swiftly, and stress on the importance of robust reporting mechanism and specialized victim support services, as well as widespread awareness campaigns to address the rampant abuse, exploitation and trafficking in the state. Kano State High Court, presided over by Justice Amina Adamu Aliyu, has ordered the police to evict the deposed Emir of Kano, Alhaji Aminu Ado Bayero, from the palace he is occupying along the state road in the Nasarawa area of the state. The court, which gave the order, also issued an interim injunction restraining Bayero and 4 other dethroned emirs from parading themselves as emirs pending the hearing and determination of a motion and notice filed by applicants. The judge gave the ruling as a state government appealed to President Bola Tinubu to move the deposed 15th emir of Kano from the state, while State Deputy Governor Aminu Abdulsalam, during a press conference, said Bayero's presence in Kano posed a threat to the peace and stability cherished by his people. This is coming after the State House of Assembly had on Thursday repealed the Kano Emirates Council law, which divided Kano into 5 emirates, and amid the crisis caused by the new emirates, the 14th emir of Kano, Mohammed Sanusi II, a former governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, was dethroned by Abdullahi Ganduje's administration. Upon the repeal of the law on Thursday, the state governor, Abba Yusuf, signed a new law and sacked the 5 emirs, and while the other 4 emirs complied with the directive, the deposed emir of Kano, who was not in the city, returned and headed for the palace at the Nasarawa area. Group of lawyers from northern Nigeria have issued a 48-hour ultimatum to Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf to rescind the restatement of Emir Mohammed Sanusi II. The lawyers, who identified themselves as the Northern Lawyers Forum at a briefing in Abuja, said Sanusi's restatement is unconstitutional and contrary to the traditions and customs of the Kano Emirates. The forum's Director General Umar Sadiq Abubakar argued that Sanusi's initial removal was in line with the laws and traditions of the Emirate, while his reinstatement would create chaos and undermine the rule of law in the state. Abubakar accused Governor Yusuf of making a mockery of the country's judiciary by willfully disobeying a federal high court ruling restraining him from restating Sanusi, an acclaimed injunction from the Kano State High Court purporting to vacate the subsitting order. Is a clear affront to the authority of the Federal High Court and a dangerous precedent that undermines the hierarchy of the country's courts. The group warned that if the governor fails to retrace his step, they would be forced to take all necessary legal steps to protect the judiciary and the interests of the people of Kano State. Kano High Court, presided over by Justice Aminu Aliyu, has restrained the police, the Department of State Services, and the Nigerian military from evicting the restated Emir of Kano, Mohammed Sanusi II. The case was filed by the Emir alongside the 4 kingmakers of Kano, Medakin Kano Yusuf, Nabani, Makama, Kano Ibrahim Sariki, Abdullahi, Sarikin Bey, Masu Adana, and Sarikin Dakwai Bello Tutwa. Granting the order on Tuesday, Justice Ali also restrained the security agencies from arresting or harassing the Emir and his kingmakers. The motion and notice was adjourned till June 13, 2024 for hearing, while Justice Aliyu had ordered the eviction of the 15th Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, from the Nasarawa Mini Palace. 5 months after a school teacher, Abdul Malik Tanko, was sentenced to death for the killing of a 5-year-old pupil, Hafina Hanif Abubakar, in Kano, Governor Abba Yusuf has vowed to ensure the execution of the convict. The governor said the sentence prescribed by the court must be carried out. Yusuf, who disclosed this during an event to commemorate the 2024 International Children's Day celebration in Kano, said Kano State High Court has sentenced Tanko and his accomplice Hashimu Ishaku to death by hanging after finding them guilty of Hafina's murder. Yusuf said the convicted murderers get the desired justice they deserve and would serve as a deterrent to those who are planning evil against children. Other than that, the state is on the verge of declaring a state of emergency on education to ensure quality education for children in the state. The governor also promised that in no distant time, Free school feeding and free uniforms will be provided for school children from primary 1 to 3 in the state. While the State Commissioner for Women, Children and Disabled, Hajia Aisha Lawan, commended the governor for his initiatives, including free education for primary and secondary students, as well as slashing of tuition fees by 50% for tertiary students. Police in Jigawa State have raided criminals' hideout and arrested 85 suspected criminals. Police spokesman DSP Lawan Shishu Adam, who confirmed the development in a statement, said the arrest was made after a raid carried out in Duse, Kazarue, Tarua, Sara and May Gatari local government areas. He also said some of the exhibits in their procession include 4 blocks as well as 258 wraps of dried leaves suspected to be in their hem, and 150 pieces of D5 tablets and 40 pieces of tramadol tablets and 37 pieces of rubber solutions, as well as 29 pieces of Exol tablets. Shishu said the suspect will be taken to court after investigation. Transmission Company of Nigeria says that 3 additional towers have been vandalized in the northeast, which has worsened the blackouts in the region. This is coming after the northeast governor's forum raised concern that the region had been neglected and lambasted TCN over its poor handling of repairs of vandalized transmission towers in the region. Transmission Company of Nigeria, in a statement issued in Abuja by its spokesperson Ndidi Mba, said it was trying to complete the reconstruction of 4 towers that were earlier vandalized in the northeast. It also said despite the security challenges in the area, TCN contractors and some of its engineering staff worked tirelessly to fast-track the reconstruction of the earlier damaged towers. The company restated its commitment to restoring normal bulk power supply through the distribution companies serving the northeast and other areas affected by vandalism. Ruling All Progressive Congress has faulted former President Olusegun Obasanjo's criticism of the current administration's handling of its ongoing reforms and the coup d'etat in Niger Republic. This is coming after Obasanjo had probed President Bola Tinubu's implementation of the removal of subsidy from petroleum products, as well as the floating of naira, while in the past few months, the masses have continued to groan over the rising cost of food items and inflation following the removal of the fuel subsidy and the floating of the naira by the Tinubu government. A statement by his special assistant on media, Kehinde Akinyemi Obasanjo, said though the policies initiated by Tinubu were necessary, they were wrongly implemented. APC National Director Bala Ibrahim faulted Obasanjo, who he described as a Syria critic, and expressed fears that the former president might be manifesting signs of old age. Academic Staff Union of Universities, the Calabar Zone, has expressed reservation about the federal government's student loan, describing it as a ploy to enslave Nigerian students and make them remain indebted to the country forever. The federal government student loan officially came on stream last Friday when the portal for loan applications opened after 3,764 students from 126 institutions sent an application on the opening day. The federal government also said the initiative was to ensure that no Nigerian youth is denied higher education on account of lack of funds. Zonal chairperson of ASU, Dr. Happiness Udwak, insisted that the student loan was a ploy to enslave Nigerian youth, and it was disheartening that the people who attended schools on scholarship enjoyed meal subsidies, bursary awards, among others. We are now implementing loans for students. The national president of ASU, Professor Emmanuel Osodeke, had also repeatedly criticized the student loan, saying the government should rather give students bursaries. And in a statement jointly signed by the 8 union chairpersons, reasoning that instead of loans, the federal government should give in subvention to higher institutions. Other than that, such a move would bring about a positive turnaround in the tertiary institutions. All right, we want to embark on a very short break. When we come back, we continue with the news. Stay tuned.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what the blood.
I have fought very firmly.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody, and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
To the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN. From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN. We bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
I have fought a very family.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Jack us up and down like this now.
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask, oh?
Because this road where they see so, it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government, but we not get good governance.
At all.
Roads so e no dey, light o usa, the infrastructure nko e come turn to be forbidden fruit for the city.
Corruption, spoil everything.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Every day, our lives are changed by history.
We are one people, all of us.
Leaders, politics,
Nobody's ambition is what they blood.
I have fought a very family.
natural occurrence, war, and the world economy.
I belong to everybody and I belong to nobody.
ATN covers it all on ATN Politics today.
Jack us up and down like this now.
I hope nobody carry belle.
Why you ask, oh?
Because this road where they see so, it no guarantee safe delivery.
We just dey vote for government.
We're glad to have you back on the Global News and Atlantic Television Network. And now the rest of the stories. Academic Staff Union of Universities has urged the federal government to, as a matter of urgency, to stop tax waivers meant to fund tertiary institutions in the country. President of the association, Professor Victor Osodeke, who was speaking on Tuesday during a public hearing on monitoring of collection, utilization and other associated services relating to education tax from 2011 to 2022. Tax from 2011 to 2022 talked about poor fundings of tertiary institutions and citizen industrial actions to waivers granted to banks and other private institutions.
Why should the president approve a waiver for banks not to pay some tax? And this is the sector of the industry that makes so much profit on a yearly basis. So why are you preventing them? This is one of the industries where people are properly paid, and you are preventing them. So I also believe that the legislator can come in this area, that there is a need to stop this so-called waiver. What you need to do, collect the money and do the job. Don't allow the company to go and do the job. We should look for how to stop this idea of waiver. And when there's a waiver that should not affect the third fund tax, it shouldn't affect the third fund tax. Because it's not part of what they gave waiver for. The third fund tax should be 2% of your accessible profit. 3% of your profit. Whether you are going to do whatever is not an issue. Like the first ban, you declare 700, that it should be 2% of that amount. 3%. Sorry, I'm sorry. It's 3% of that amount. Not say you have deducted 750. You have just bring it. We now brought it to 220 billion. If we do that, those children who are dropping out of school, those parents, those who are committing suicide, and others, we eliminate.
What we do is to monitor compliance.
Chairman, House Committee on Tertiary Institutions, Honorable Mariam Anura, in her submission said the engagement by the committee is to ensure that the education tax is duly collected by the fairs as well as putting it to judicious use.
What we do is to monitor compliance, and they've been regularizing, updating their receipts of payment, and they've been reconciling, and this is where we as a committee have arrived at with you. The bone of contention have always and mostly been that the banks seem to be relying on a purported exemption order which clearly mentioned companies' income tax exemption order of 2011. We have asked the banks to produce the education tax exemption order, and they have failed to present it. We have equally presented with them that you cannot liken one exemption to another, because in law you don't summarily assume, because what is not mentioned is deemed excluded. Education tax was not mentioned in whatever you have shown, and that has been the reason for their back and forth, so that we don't keep wasting the time of Parliament.
Chairman, House Committee on Tertiary Institutions in 2011, there was a presidential order issuing tax waiver to some banks and private institutions based on certain categories of income, and has reviewed that some companies are hiding under the pretext of avoiding education tax following the presidential order of waiver. That fund was introduced in 1992 with the primary objective to provide supplementary funding to public tertiary institutions in Nigeria and enhance their infrastructure, academic quality, and research capabilities. The fund, which is applied through a 3% education tax imposed on the accessible profits of companies registered in Nigeria, is collected by the Federal Inland Revenue Service and remitted to that fund for allocation to eligible tertiary institutions. Chairman of the House Committee on Environment, Honorable Pondi Bojo, who gave the sermon, said that the committee was displeased by their behavior, as it was the second time they were shown the invitation to appear, and directed the clerk of the committee to write to them. Other than that, such attitude would no longer be condoned.
This one is a request of our people that are dying. You heard from my colleague, while he was seated here, they sent me a message that houses are still collapsing. So I want to appeal to you. Well, as well as I'm appealing to my colleagues to make sure that they meet up those criteria. I want to appeal to you that when they come to you, please prioritize those criteria, particularly those people that are here, that have called on you for support, for assistance. Please, I know that there's so much across country asking for same or similar things, but you will be doing our committee, National Assembly, by extension, the constituents, there are people, our constituents, a huge favor for crying out very loud for you to hear. So please, and when they do so, prioritize. When I say prioritize, attend to, because everybody is equally important in this country. Everybody is important in this country. So please try and accommodate it in your program and try and see what you can do.
The prevalence of climate change has impacted our environment harmfully, resulting in an increased wave of erosion, desertification, flooding, and other forms of natural disasters that have assumed severe and worrisome dimension in our vulnerable communities across the 36 states of the Federation. The ecological threats have specifically caused deaths, displacement of homes, devastation of farmlands, and means of livelihood and destruction to infrastructure, leading to social economic challenges in communities across the 8 states captured in today's public hearing. As the People's Parliament, and in line with our legislative agenda of embarking on legislative processes and legal frameworks to address environmental challenges, the House resolved to respond urgently to the menace in the communities to stem the ugly tide.
Earlier, the Speaker of the House, Honorable Tajuddin Albert, said the prevalence of climate change had impacted on the environment harmfully, resulting in an increased wave of erosion, desertification, flooding, and other forms of natural disasters that have assumed severe and worrisome dimensions in the vulnerable communities across the 36 states of the Federation. The Speaker, who was represented by the Deputy Majority Leader of the House, Honorable Abdullahi Halim, set the House in line with its legislative agenda of embarking on legislative processes and legal frameworks to address environmental challenges, resolved to respond urgently to the menace and the communities to stem the ugly tide. Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has rearranged a former Director General of Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, Bature Umar Masari, on an amended 22-count charge of alleged money laundering. Masari's arraignment followed his alleged involvement in 119 million naira monthly laundering and gratification, and when the matter came up on Tuesday, Prosecution Counsel Ekele Ihanacho told the judge of an amended 22-count charge dated May 13, 2013 and filed on May 17, 2019, which he said was before the court. The defendant also pleaded not guilty to all the charges, which led the Prosecution Counsel to apply for a trial date, while the defense counsel, Okechukwu Edeze, told the court that the matter was originally before Justice Okong Abang before his elevation to the Court of Appeal. According to him, Justice Abang has on May 24, 2019, granted the defendant bail, adding that since then he has been enjoying the bail conditions and prayed the court to allow his client to continue to enjoy the bail earlier granted him by Justice Abang. After listening to all the arguments, Justice A.O. Egwat released the defendant to his counsel and has prayed and adjourned the matter till July 16, 2024 for the commencement of trial. President Bola Tinubu-led Federal Executive Council has awarded 51 contracts worth 6.27 trillion naira for procuring, constructing and developing various infrastructure projects across the Federation in 8 months. The contracts awarded between October 16, 2023 and May 14, 2024, totaling 8 months, were allocated to facilitate the development of a wide array of infrastructure projects across critical sectors, encompassing the construction of roads, bridges, train systems, and airport infrastructure. At the FEC inaugural meeting last August, Tinubu charged his cabinet members to work hard and be committed to creating a buoyant economy that will serve every Nigerian, adding that the expectations of Nigerians were very high and underperformance would not be tolerated. The president also restated his government's policies agenda, which includes reforming the economy to deliver sustainable and inclusive growth and strengthen national security for peace and prosperity. The Senate and the House of Reps will on Wednesday, May 29, hold a joint sitting to mark the 25 years of unbroken democracy in Nigeria. The sitting, the first of its kind since the return to democracy in 1999, will feature paper presentations by eminent Nigerians, including the former military head of state, General Abdulsalami Abubakar, retired. The two legislative chambers only sit together during annual budget presentations by the president, while a statement by the National Assembly management said President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is expected to deliver an address at the joint sitting. The president is also expected to inaugurate the new National Assembly Library as part of the event slated for the 250-year celebration, along with other dignitaries and stakeholders. There will be commemorative lectures on 25 years of the National Assembly, as well as lessons and opportunities at the joint sitting, while Bajabiamila, who served as a Speaker of the Ninth House between 2019 to 2023, will deliver a paper on reflections on the House, while Senator David Mark, the President of the 6th and 7th Senate between 2007 to 2015, will speak on reflections on the Senate. A Speaker of the House of Reps, Honorable Tajuddin Abbas, and the Minister of Blue Economy, Yaga Oyetola, have pushed for the establishment of a shipping regulatory agency in the country. The Speaker and the Minister jointly canvassed for the establishment in Abuja during a public hearing on the Shipping Council repeal and enactment of the Shippers Council and Economic Regulatory Bill. Speaking, Abbas said the move to establish the regulatory agency was geared towards economic growth, development and diversification, as well as strengthening the new ministry. Other than that, the reenactment seeks to ensure that the proposed agency establishes an economic regulatory framework for effective and efficient regulation of commercial and related activities in the shipping and port sectors. He also said it was also aimed at creating an enabling environment for private sector in participation in the provision and operation of regulatory services in Nigeria, amongst others. The Minister of Blue Economy, Yega Oyetola, who stressed the need to establish the regulatory agency, said it would improve the nation's economy, and represented by Oloruntola Olufemi, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Blue Economy, said it will be a welcome development if the bill became an act, while Boma Alabisan, Chairman Shipping Line Association of Nigeria, said that any act that will improve efficiency, lower costs and reduce the bottleneck will be accepted. Other than that, the Nigeria port costs the country twice as much as others in the region, including the Benin Republic.
This reenactment bill not only seeks to ensure that the proposed agency establishes an economic regulatory framework for effective and efficient regulation of commercial and related activities in the shipping and port sector, but also aims to create an enabling environment for private sector participation in the provision and operation of regulated services in Nigeria, amongst others.
This bill, when passed into law, will promote competition and ensure consumer protection and quality of service delivery in the regulated sector. The bill, Mr. Speaker, essentially embellishes the fundamentals of economic regulation, that is, making all actors play by the rules. Service providers must operate competitively to avoid monopoly, excessive pricing, and arbitrariness. Service users Consumers must conduct themselves responsibly by paying appropriate prices for services and avoid unwholesome practices.
If we think about the current situation, look at the ports in Cotonou. How many people are there? Clearly, they're building infrastructure to service our country. So we've got to make sure that we are more efficient. And to that extent, we welcome this regulatory agency that will be created to make things more efficient for all of us.
The chairman of the Committee on Shipping Services, Port and Harbour, Maritime Safety, Education and Administration, Honorable Abdul Isamad Dasuke, assured that the House would provide the enablement that would make bill to become an act without delay for the development of the sector and the country at large. The Senator has pardoned and recalled Senator Abdul Ahmed Ninge, who was suspended on March 12, 2024. The 3-month suspension was handed to the Bauchi Central Senator over his allegation of a 3.7 trillion naira pardon of the 2024 budget.
The Upper Legislative Chamber recalled Senator Ninge following a joint motion sponsored by Senator Abamoro, the minority leader, Senator Olalere Oyewumi, Senator representing Osun South, and Senator Osita Ngu representing Enugu West. Senator Abamoro, in his lead debate, pledged to assume full responsibility for Senator Ninge's actions, acknowledging the gravity of the suspension.
And aware that the said Senator Abdul Ahmed Ninge, being under suspension, has spent over 2 months outside the precincts of the National Assembly complex and needs to return to continue with his legislative activities as a senator representing Bauchi Central Senatorial District. Flowing from the above, the Senate minority leadership takes full responsibility for the actions of our colleague Senator Abdul Ahmed Ninge and apologizes on his behalf.
According to other lawmakers, Senator Victor Ume said Senator Ninge's conduct during the period of the suspension has been a matter of scrutiny and debate within the legislative body. Senator Godswill Akpabio, in his ruling, emphasized the senator's resourcefulness and described him as a valued member of the chamber, adding that the decision to recall Senator Ninge transcends beyond religious and ethnic divides.
Is our friend and is somebody we cherish so much. The spirit of this motion has met the demand and request of this Senate previously. An apology should be given for that unfortunate interview where we are almost put on the spot as if we did things we did not do. So in the spirit of brotherhood, I rise to wholeheartedly support that this Senate should recall Abdul Ninge.
That maintains that to err is human, and to forgive is divine. It's on this note that I want to commend the minority leader and his team, in fact, the entire minority caucus and the entire leadership of the minority caucus and the minority caucus itself, because I know they must have acted based on the prompting of the members of the caucus, for going in between and for making sure they get to where we are now by bringing forward this motion in a way that the resolution of the issue of Ninge's suspension is resolved.
Is there any senator who is opposed to this motion? Wow. So if there is nobody who is opposed to the motion, then I'll put the question. This happening today goes in tandem with the spirit of what the National Assembly, both the Senate and the House of Reps, has done by bringing back our old national anthem, which simply says that though tribes and tongues may differ, in brotherhood we stand. The decision of the Senate today is clear evidence that this is one family, and though we may come from different constituencies and different states, in brotherhood we stand.
The pardoned senator is expected to resume his legislative duty to represent his constituency from the next legislative sitting. Rotimi Adeoye, ATN News, Abuja.
The Senate has rejoined the House of Reps to pass the National Anthem Bill 2024 to revert to the old national anthem, Nigeria We Hail Thee. The upper legislative chamber passed the bill after considering a report by Tahir Mongono, the chairman of the Judiciary Committee. While presenting his report, Senator Mongono said his committee disagreed with the position of Lateef Fagbemi, Attorney General of the Federation, that the process to change the anthem should be subjected to a wider process. After the closest consideration of the bill, Senate passed it for the third reading.
The national anthem doesn't have the backing of law, but what this bill seeks to achieve is to give it a backing of law, so that it can bite and bite with all the legal powers embedded in it. It is pertinent to state categorically that for the first time in the history of the nation that the Parliament is making a legal framework for providing the national anthem for the country, and has followed all the steps of lawmaking process, including public hearing, in order to elicit for opinions of Nigerians. The Parliament considered the proposed bill important as the national anthem is a representation of the country's history, culture, and people. It is a symbol of national identity and unity, reflecting the aspirations and values of the Nigerian people. The framework created by the Parliament outlines the proper rendition and performance of the national anthem, ensuring that it is treated with the respect and dignity it deserves.
After the closest consideration of the bill, Senate passed it for the third reading. Senator Tahir Mongono, Chairman, Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, the piece of legislation now awaits the absence of President Bola Tinubu. Senate Committee on Capital Markets has confirmed Motimi Agama as the Director General of the Securities and Exchange Commission. The committee approved the appointment of Farana Chukwogo as SEC's Executive Commissioner of Legal and Enforcement, Bola Ajomale as Executive Commissioner of Operations, and Samia Usman as the Executive Commissioner of Cooperative Services. According to a statement from the Securities and Exchange Commission, capital market stakeholders have welcomed Agama's appointment, describing him as a technocrat poised to advance the Tinubu administration's ambitious goal of achieving a $1 trillion economy. On April 19, 2024, President Bola Tinubu appointed Agama to succeed Lamido Yuguda as head of the SEC, and upon his confirmation, he recommitted to accelerating the development of Nigeria's capital market to boost wealth creation, attract investment, and create jobs. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, says the Nigerian economy is experiencing a positive growth at rate of 2.99%, surpassing the 2.3% growth seen in the first quarter of 2024. Edun, who disclosed this during the presentation of his ministry's performance 1 year into the administration of President Bola Tinubu in Abuja, said the improvement in economic growth highlights the effectiveness of President Bola Tinubu's economic strategy. The minister, who said that revenue collection had also seen significant improvement, said it has enabled the government to service its debts without resorting to the central bank's ways and means advances, a practice that has previously been a cause for concern regarding fiscal discipline and inflation. The finance minister also said the positive economic indicators reflect the current administration's commitment to sustainable economic growth and fiscal responsibility. Officials for the Kebbi State Government Pilgrim to Mecca says they have rescued 3 missing Nigerian pilgrims in Mecca, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This is coming after the Kebbi government sponsored pilgrims to perform Hajj in 2024. Speaking in Mecca, the Executive Director, Women's Rights Advancement and Protection Alternative in Kebbi State, Nasir Idris, said they had rescued a woman from Kamba local government area who was missing. Idris also offered useful suggestions to committees to ensure the success of the Hajj exercise. Adding that the humanitarian services being rendered by the KGOs will be sustained throughout the Hajj operation. He appealed for more support and cooperation for the pilgrims to ensure a successful Hajj exercise. Southern Gazan city of Rafah is under heavy bombardment after Israeli strikes killed dozens of people. Israel calls for the airstrike a tragic mishap, but vows to continue the war against Hamas despite international condemnation. The UN Secretary Council will hold an emergency meeting later to discuss the strike in the city, where thousands of displaced people are sheltering. Meanwhile, Ireland, Norway and Spain will today formally recognize the state of Palestinian, and they hope the symbolic act will refocus attention on efforts to find a political solution to war in the Middle East. But Israel has accused all 3 countries of rewarding terrorism. And that's it on the news for tonight. Thank you so very much for watching the news. My name is Angel. Welcome.